Perhaps it is fair and accurate to say that most people in the Western world are at least somewhat familiar with the Sugar Plum Fairy and the tale of the Nutcracker. If nothing else, it seems to me that almost everyone would be able to identify the classic and enchanting tune that has become synonymous with Christmas, the dance of the Sugar Plum Fairy, with which I have opened our Christmas episode today. The Sugar Plum Fairy glides across the stage with ethereal ease, adorned with fabrics that seem to be as light and ethereal as she is. Clara, the main character, is typically depicted as exuding an innocent enthusiasm that many people admire. The Nutcracker is dashing in his own way, and the skittering mice are terribly convincing, aren't they? Of the whole cast, however, I must admit that perhaps it is the Mouse King who has enchanted me and drawn me forth, down his mouse hole into Wonderland. I have enjoyed many versions of the Nutcracker over the years of my life, beginning when I was just a toddler. I have researched it over and over again for all of these years, and sat joyfully through many documentaries about it, its characters, and its music. However, yesterday morning, I awoke that Christmas Eve in a completely different world. My husband and I have our traditions every holiday. For Thanksgiving, it is cooking, eating, and Christmas decorating. For Christmas, we celebrate the whole month through and into January. We play Christmas music of all kinds, cook, bake, make gifts, and write cards. And the day after Christmas, we enjoy delivering our gifts and cookies to the recipients in order to keep the Christmas magic going for them. We watch Christmas movies, documentaries, and travel vlogs. We have our favorite entertainment, though, and the New York City Ballet rendition of the Nutcracker is by far just that. You may notice that I have borrowed a few clips from their ballet to showcase here. I and we cannot recommend it highly enough, and we are glad to promote them however we can, for their Nutcracker Ballet has brought back much magic for us both. We tend to watch it at least twice a year, both times in December, though if we feel especially sentimental, we can watch it several times in the season. This ballet performance, though, is only the keyhole to the magic and the story today. Are you yet acquainted with John Solo of the Messed Up Origins series? John hosts and creates a brilliant YouTube channel, in my humble opinion, where he dives into the history, mystery, and trivia of mythology and literature in his own unique fashion. Just yesterday, he released a video all about the Nutcracker Ballet. I was surprised and delighted to see that he had also used clips from the New York City Ballet. My joy at hearing his own telling of the full story and history, however, was dampened when he brought up one specific detail. This may seem like a strange question, and indeed, I do feel strange asking it. Nonetheless, how many heads and how many crowns do you remember the Mouse King having? We woke up this morning. I put on a brand new video from one of my favorite YouTubers about the story behind the Nutcracker Ballet. And it came up as a major theme in this video that the Mouse King apparently has 7 heads with 7 crowns and always had. I was absolutely floored by this because never have I heard of this, never have I seen it, anything. But this YouTuber also brought up the New York City Ballet and showed video with a costumed character that I am extremely well familiar with, the Mouse King in this ballet. And it's always had one head for me. It just looked like a giant mouse or rat character with a golden crown and one head. However, in this footage and in the still shot that this YouTuber shared, there were 7 heads. I lost my cool just a little bit and I asked Artemaeus what he thought of this, what he remembered. You want to share what your reality has always been on this one?
Yeah, I mean, I remember watching the ballet, and I hadn't been familiar with the story of the Nutcracker and the Mouse King having 7 heads. So when I saw the character appear on stage with heads galore, amounting to what looked like to me a bunch of grapes, really, I thought that's rather Chernobyl of an experience, but okay, sure, it's art, and art doesn't have to make sense. It can just be whatever it is. So I thought absolutely nothing of it when I saw it, but for me, that had been there from the first viewing of the ballet.
Mm-hmm. So, did you ever know though before that character was alleged to always have 7 heads?
No,
I can't remember what you said.
I was loosely familiar with just there being a character of the Mouse King that the Nutcracker or the Prince, I'm not sure which character, attempts to fight in one of the major scenes, but no, that I just didn't question it.
But for you, as many years now as we've watched the Nutcracker Ballet, at least with this one, it's always been there that he's had a cluster of grapes.
Yes,
for a head.
With the New York City Ballet version that is available on YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen the Nutcracker in person actually at I believe it was the Palace Theater in Cleveland, Ohio, one year. And unfortunately, I'm not one for details like that, generally speaking, unless I've got my directed attention towards something and I am attempting to gather as many details as possible. I would have to say, unfortunately, that day-to-day my life is relatively low resolution, and I'm working on that. But I don't recall if the ballet that was playing in Cleveland that year had the Mouse King character with multiple heads or not. But I do know that the New York City Ballet version available on YouTube always for me did have the Mouse King had 7 heads.
That's wild for me because never ever was that a thing anywhere that I have ever seen, heard, read about, been told about. Absolutely nothing. And for myself, watching the New York City Ballet footage where all of a sudden for me, this character has more than one head, let alone 7, it was very strange. And seeing the costume now have the 7 heads,
like a cluster of grapes.
Yeah, it really did freak me out a little bit because I've always known it to just be an oversized mouse or an oversized rat. And his head was very large and it was very much just one head. And it was a little oversized. To me, it looked a little goofy. But I can assure myself and assure you that it was only one head, at least for me, until today. So.
They mostly just incorporated its light-hearted vibe, which was not present at all in Hoffmann's tale. Hoffmann told the Nutcracker story in a dark, disturbing way that perfectly captured the terror its main character felt when the 7-headed Mouse King threatened her life and the life of her beloved Nutcracker. That's why in this episode, I'm going to share with you the original story in all of its glory so you can see exactly how it inspired the ballet, which in turn inspired many adaptations of its own.
we wish you a very Merry Christmas. We hope that you enjoy the footage and your holidays. Anything else to add, Sugar? Sugar Plum?
No. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.